Welcome to the Parts Girl podcast, powered by PartsEdge with Kaylee Felio. Conversations that will transform the way we do business. Gain insight into the wins and struggles from automotive professionals.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Parts Girl podcast. I'm very excited to be interviewing Jill today. Welcome, Jill.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, and for everyone who doesn't know who you are, where are you, who are you with, what's your title? Give us a little backstory.
So my name is Jill Trotta, and I am the Vice President of Business Development Partnerships and Marketing at Torqata.
So, Torqata. And if you guys don't know who Torqata is, we're going to get into a little bit of that. But we're focusing on tires because that's, it's a big topic right now in the dealership world. So tell us a little about how you got to where you are. I like to ask that just so everyone can kind of get to know you as a person. How'd you get into Torqata?
I found myself at the end of 2021. I was with Repair Pal for about 9 years and left Repair Pal and took some time off to really assess the industry and what my next move should be. What kind of company did I want to go to? What kind of work did I want to continue to do? What things did I want to start doing? And after like a 9-month long search and 36 conversations,
Wow.
I found Torqata purely kind of on a whim. I'd never heard of them before, and I was really looking for a company to do some practice interviewing with. I had a lot of job offers, but nothing that I really was excited about. And so I saw it and I was like, hey, I want to go through a whole interview process with a company. So I applied and they interviewed me, and here we are.
There you go. Here you are. And how long have you been with them?
About 8 or 9 months.
Okay, so almost a year later. Very exciting. And I think we just found each other on LinkedIn. I feel like that's how we got connected, right? Or did someone tell us to connect?
No, I was on LinkedIn and I saw your podcast and I watched a couple episodes and I was like, and I always love to see women in the automotive industry who are out there and talking about the issues and really like highlighting like the knowledge of the people in the industry, particularly women. And I love it when connecting with other women in the industry for sure.
Me too. Yeah, I'm glad we connected. And I'm glad I'm going to get to learn more about Torqata. And we just talked about how to say it.
Torqata, like not tomato, it's tomato.
Exactly. So I'm going to try my best not to have to say it. But okay, so give us a little bit of like just what do you guys do? Like I'm just going to go for it because I know a lot of people don't really like to know, like, this is not a sales pitch, everyone. We're educating ourselves because this is important. It's about tires. So let's hear it.
So what we do, we're a data analytics company working in the tire space.
Okay.
And we are working to solve like real supply chain issues in the tire space. We want to help retailers, warehouse distributors, and the manufacturers make sure that they're delivering the right inventory at the right pricing, at the right time, to the right shops. So that's basically what we do. And we do that by, creating this three-sided marketplace and connecting the manufacturer to the warehouse distributor to the retailer and making sure that the retailer knows what tires they should be stocking, what the market price for those tires are. Are they too high or too low? How to optimize their programs and track their tire programs, which can be really, really difficult for them. And what kind of inventory should they have to meet their market demand? A lot of times shops just put inventory in because that's what they've always sold. But is that the most profitable inventory? And are they only selling that because that's what they have in stock, so that's what they're selling? So what the most profitable inventory to stock for their market? And we can help them increase their profits, in that way, also by, making sure that they're pricing it right.
That's very important to stay competitive in the market because I think because you guys have originally just been with independents, right, in shops, right? Is that
primary focus is the independent retailers or larger mid mid-size retailers, helping them with their and larger retailers as well. Right now, this year, our focus is mid-size to smaller retailers.
Okay. And you guys have shifted a little bit into more of the dealership space, right?
Yeah,
Is
we
that
we
kind
do have some integrations with dealers, and we can do work with the dealers as well.
Yeah, I remember when we first connected, when hearing what that explanation, I remember thinking like exactly what you guys do for tires is what we're doing for dealerships for their parts inventory. It
Exactly.
totally makes sense.
Exactly, and I think when I saw your podcast and I looked to see what the company did, I was like, "Oh, yeah, they're doing, like, what we do, but in just a slightly different way."
Exactly, because we're focused on only new car dealerships.
Mhm.
And I think with dealerships, it's like just like wholesale. It's like you're either in wholesale, you're either in online business selling online, or you're not. So it's the same thing with tires. It's like you're either in the tire business or not. Don't Most dealerships, I think, and most parts managers don't like to stock tires because they take up space, and their
Expensive.
dealers, yeah, they're expensive. They've tend historically to not make a lot of profit, but I think it's because the dealerships haven't on the front side haven't been set up to market and show like, these we have tires to sell.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
I've worked at dealerships before. My background, I've worked at dealerships, I've worked at independents, I've worked on the parts and service side. And when I had my independent shop, I actually just had a guy down the street that did my tires for me because my perception was that that wasn't something that wasn't very profitable. I didn't want to do it in my shop. Now, after being a Torqata, I've definitely changed that opinion. And, we'll be talking in the industry in different presentations about, how you can make tires more profitable. And the name of the presentation is going to be Tires Are the New Oil Change. So
And where are you presenting that?
the first time we'll be at Apex.
Okay. And when is that?
Apex is in November.
Oh, good.
Apex SEMA in November in Vegas.
Very good. So we can talk about this and it's not going to be passed because this
No,
is very good.
the presentation right now. It's pretty exciting, especially when you look at the margins that you can get, the amount of extra visits that you get in your facility that people bring it in to have their tires checked. Thoughts on, how often do people get flat tires and what the opportunity is there because when you change a tire, you take the wheels off, you look at the brakes, you look at the suspension, gives you the opportunity to look at that vehicle.
Yeah, why not get it all done in one place?
Mhm.
So you guys are tracking that data and showing that. So you're presenting like this is how profitable it can be, if you're in this, if you
Mhm.
focus more on this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And what would you say the biggest thing that you guys, or what's the hardest part about what you're providing? Like, how do you get people's attention? What's like, because I feel like if you're trying to go into dealerships, tires are the last thing people want to talk about.
Exactly. I think the industry, and I'm sure you run into this as well, it's a really old school industry. There's a lot of really old school thinking and out there. So just getting, retailers and dealership service managers and shop owners to realize that tires can be profitable and how it can work in your business and how it fits into everything else that you're doing and how they're used. It's a great customer retention tool as well because if you're a full service facility or a dealership or something like that and they come in to get their service done or the water pump's leaking or something and then you look at their car and you notice that there's tires that need to be replaced and you can't sell them those tires. Maybe they'll, you inspect the water pump and then you tell them that they need tires and maybe they get that done today, maybe they don't. But then maybe they take it to a tire retailer down the street to get the tires and then they give them the work for the water pump. Or, you
Or
can
the
reverse that. They take it in to have their tires looked at and then they tell them that their water pump is leaking and that they can do it for this amount of money and they're already there rather than keeping them in your facility and just keeping all that work.
So what does it look like when you guys start working? Like, I want to know what does it look like? Like, how do you start? Because you're showing the dealership or the shops, like, this is the market, these are the tires that you need to stock. Because I feel like that's the first fear of, like, what do I even stock? Because they
Mhm.
have no really data. Because like you mentioned, I think it was when you were in a shop, it's like, are we only selling what we have because that's what we have? You
Mhm.
know? So
Yeah.
I think you guys are showing them a bigger picture, right?
We are showing them their market. So not just their shop, but we have algorithms and that we put in place that go out a certain degree, certain amount of miles, and it captures all of the tire data from that area. And then we match it with the park data in the area, the VINs in operation, and some other proprietary data sources. And we come up with what you need to stock to most profitably service your market. Maybe you have, I don't know, we'll just say these 5 Michelin tires in your market, in your inventory. We can tell you if you're going to be able to, like, if those are the best that you should have in your inventory. Is it the most profitable tire that you can put to stock to meet the market demand? Does it connect to the programs that you've signed up for in terms of tire? We help them manage that entire ecosystem. We also work with shops who are thinking about entering the tire industry. You're thinking about entering it, you don't know if it's profitable, you don't know what's going on in the market because that's not really what you've been doing. You can use our tools, which are free, to like be able to tell, like, I should stock these 20 tires and they
Hmm.
should be able to service the market that is in my area that would come in. And that includes the customers that you already have as well.
And then you guys help with the pricing because that's a whole nother
Mhm.
ball game too.
Yeah, you could decide, like, we give you a range, and it helps you decide, like, are you trying to be like the lower cost provider and you're going for more of a volume play and selling a lot of tires? Or do you want to be the more boutique shop that somebody comes in, it's really high touch and you can get toward the top of that market. It really gives you the range so that you can make the best decision as to what you should be pricing things at. My time at Repair Pal, the Repair Pal fair price estimator, was very much like that. Like, it gave you a range and you can decide. And it's just a guide, right? Like, our pricing is a guide. Gives you the information and you make your own decision.
Absolutely. I think this is a really great tool and resource, and very important to just for tires, just to retention, to
Mhm.
get people to stay and come back because you're in the business, you're in the tire business.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I don't think it's commonly known that, when you're talking about an EV and you're talking about hybrids and with the batteries, those vehicles are generally a little bit heavier and the tires are a little bit different because rolling resistance matters, and they wear out at 20 to 25% quicker than tires that would maybe be on an ICE vehicle just because of the structure and the way the vehicle is. So that translates into more visits to your shop. So being able to have those people just continue to keep coming back for everything in your shop is going to be, as maintenance and the easier repairs and go away, you're going to need to create different revenue streams to keep those people just circling back into your shop or dealership, whichever.
Yes, we do. And I think that's the big overall, like, conversation that dealerships are having, particularly in fixed ops,
Mhm.
retention, keeping, and there's different avenues to do this, and it's important to have these conversations so that we can pay attention to it.
Well,
So
particularly getting them to come back after the warranty period
yes,
is super important, and you can do that with tires, because if you know what mileage they bought the car, you can extrapolate out to how many miles they have and pitch them tire offers.
yes, and then also too, I think bringing the awareness of, because I think we always assume, or I'm just I don't want to speak for the industry, but I think we assume that consumers know how important the safety of tires and replacing them. And I don't think that's the case, because I'm looking back to my 18-year-old self. I had the baldest tires on my car because it was like, I was like, whatever, I don't care. They're working. But you know what? My car ended up getting totaled because partially because my tires could not stop the vehicle fast enough. And I feel like with consumers, especially younger generations, we have to educate everyone that tires are important for our vehicles to
right?
maintain.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a date code on tires. Tires expire. And
And
it's really funny because my mom didn't drive that much. So she had a 98 Lexus with 70,000 miles on it. And at one point, I went and I was doing something and I looked at the date code on her tires. Now, her tires were fine. They had plenty of tread. I looked at the date code and she'd had those tires on there for 12 years. So
wow.
I had to sit down and tell her, like, Mom, you really need to go change those tires. And she's like, why? They're practically new. Every time I take them into the oil change place, they tell me they're fine. Well, the oil change place doesn't sell tires. They also are not educated on tires. They have no idea that, like, these are 12-year-old tires and they could just blow up because it's rubber. So there's a lot of that out there. So
We only know that. I feel like I only know that because I'm in the industry. I don't think I was educated, going into the dealership, or the shops and everything. So I think that's the thing that we also need to focus on, is educating consumers. We're not trying to push tires. We're not trying to upsell. It's educating everyone's safety.
trying to keep you safe. I mean, it should be a part of a high school program, like
It really
life
should.
skills 101, right? Like things that you need to know to live your life, safely,
Take care of your vehicle.
right?
How to cook. Well, they used to do that stuff. I feel like I had a cooking home ec class. We had like an accounting, like how to do a checkbook, like track your stuff. We had that, but I don't think they do that anymore.
No, it's one of my mentees. She's on Instagram and TikTok, Mechanic Shop Femme. She does a lot of education around that. She teaches at libraries. She gives car care classes, does a
Yeah,
lot of education around how to maintain your car and how to sell a car and buy a car, because those are things that people have no idea about.
totally. I think we need to find out what she's doing and just share that with, like, we need more of those people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
my job, we did car care clinics for women and we made it really fun. But I think it's not just women. Everybody needs to know how to properly maintain their cars to be safe. Because if I have tires on my car that are 12 years old and I blow out, I might hit you.
Yeah, and I think not just women, but like the younger generation, because I'm thinking about my little brother who's 14, 15. He has no clue right now, like about vehicles and all of that. And he's going to start driving. So it's like, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a big deal.
my son, when he was younger, had a car and it was overheating. And he was like driving down the road and he's like, he calls me, he says, this light's on, it's red. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden it stops and it dies and pulls over. And the car had been overheating for days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't tell you that? He's like, no.
Yeah, I didn't teach
And
you
I'm
that one.
I mean, I think it's common sense, but like it's not. Like,
No. Yeah, because if I think back to my story with my tires, I'm like, I had a dad and I had a mom that should have taught me those things, and they probably did, but I wasn't listening. It always helps coming from someone else. So it
yeah.
just needs to be like this high school thing that people come in and talk about, and it's just, I don't know. We can talk about that forever, but I want to talk more about you. So we got to hear about Torqata. Gosh,
Yeah.
did I say that right?
Yeah.
We're not going to forget the name of this company. But what was I going to ask you? Okay, so I noticed your background, Star Wars fan.
Yes, big Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars.
Good.
And my
And
office, because I have to spend so much time up here, I'm turning it into the bridge of the Millennium Falcon.
oh, awesome. I will admit that I don't know that much about Star Wars, but I'm assuming that's like a ship, one of the ships or the things
Yeah,
that
that's
fly.
the ships, and I have like over here a big like wall mural with like if you're sitting there looking into space, and I have a bunch of other wallpaper that needs to go up. It's just, time.
So cool. I think that's so I recently well, it's not recent now. It's probably been a couple years, but for my whole like adult childhood, I guess I don't even know. No one really exposed me to Star Wars. My parents were big movie people, and I watched it, and I was like so against it too. I was like, Star Wars, it's so lame. It's like, but then I watched it, and I'm like, it's like a bunch of hippies. Like they're just hippies, and the Force is like the universe, and everyone's like, I feel like it's kind of hippie-ish,
Mhm.
right? Right. That's what I got from it.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Star Wars maybe is a generational thing because my
Um,
generation, like it was
a big
Star Wars.
deal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big deal.
I guess I missed that one. I
Yeah.
think my husband watched it and he was a fan. But I love the Yoda quote, and I love the baby Yoda because I watched the new show that whatever it's called on.
Mandalorian, yeah.
Yes, yes, I like that one. It's
That's
cool.
a good one.
Yeah, the baby Yoda is so cute.
Mm.
Okay, so other than being a Star Wars fan, is there any cool hobby or anything interesting that a lot of people don't know about you that you want to share?
I don't know, I'm I don't know. I travel a lot for work, and that takes up so much of my time. But I have a huge family. People probably don't know that. My mom is a baby of 18 kids. So
Whoa.
over 50 something first cousins, and I always tell people like when I was growing up I didn't really need friends because I had I had a lot of friends, but I have a lot of cousins. And when I was first started seeing my wife, all these women would be pinging me all the time, and she'd be like, "Who's that?" And I'd be like, "It's my cousin." "Who's that?" "It's my cousin." So I have a huge family, and I'm very close to them. So
Uh,
that's something I think most people know about me, but probably not a lot of people
I
understand.
didn't know that. I didn't know you had a big family. I think that's really cool because I only have like 5 or 6 cousins. You have 50. How do you keep track of all of them? Because then they all have kids, right?
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah, it
grow.
goes down and down and down. I mean, it just like the layers come in. When we have family parties, it's a couple hundred people
Wow.
show up.
Do you
When
have
we
family reunions? Do you
uh,
guys do that?
we did one in 2018. We were gonna do it in 2020, but for obvious reasons, we didn't. So I think probably next year we'll do one.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, now I'm friends with you on Facebook, so I'll be able to see
You can see it
your
all.
giant family reunion. That's really cool.
I also love
And
Volkswagen Bugs. That's how I started my career, is with the
wait, what do you love?
I love Volkswagen Bugs.
Oh,
I
very
started
cool.
my career with the Volkswagen Bug that kept breaking down, and I had an uncle that owned an auto shop, and I would take it to him, and he would tell me, "If I fix it for you, I have to charge you. But here's an idiot's guide to Volkswagen repair. Here's all the tools you need, and I'll be over here if you need my help." So I started out just fixing this Volkswagen Bug, and then I graduated from college with a degree in recreational therapy. I did that for a while. I didn't like it. And then I saw an ad on TV one night that said, "You too can become an automotive technician." And I'd been fixing my bug, and I'm like, maybe I can. So much to the chagrin of my father, I went to trade school,
Mhm.
graduated number two in my class, and started a career as a technician. So I actually started my career wrenching on cars,
Very
as a technician. So, and then worked my way up.
got a bunch of street cred with that. Like that's cute. It's really cool.
Still is certified, and now it's funny. I do the same thing for my nieces and nephews. They when their car is broken down, they're like, "Can you fix it?" I'm like, "Can I or will I?" Like I
Yeah.
won't. Like that's not what I do anymore. I have all the tools. I have everything. I don't really like it. I don't like my hands to get dirty, so I
Yeah.
don't know why I ever thought that would be a great fit. But I will sit with them and walk them through it, and then if they have a problem, I'll help them with it for sure. But
Mhm.
they've done their brakes, they've changed water pumps, they've changed belts, they've done all those things.
That is the best way to learn. Like
Mhm.
that. And that was your father that did that
No,
for
no,
you?
my uncle. My father
Uncle.
would try to fix our cars, and then he would take them all apart, and then he would tow them to get them fixed. This was like the cycle in my house.
He made it worse, and then
He'd try to fix it. He'd get all upset. It would sit there for days. Finally, my mom would get mad at him, and then he would tow it to the shop.
sounds like me when I try to like hang up things or do things to the house. I create more work for my husband because he has to redo it.
I have a house, and sometimes, like, because we have tools, my wife will be like, the plumbing, something's wrong. I'm like, you don't want me touching the plumbing? Because I've tried, and I will turn a what should have been $300 repair into a $1,000 repair. So I shouldn't do plumbing.
I've learned that with having a home. Well, and I feel like I've learned too, like I had this expectation that my husband was gonna be like my dad who was a carpenter and could just fix everything, and my husband's not that person. So
Right?
I feel so bad for him because I'm like, why can't you do that? My dad could do it.
Exactly.
It's like we had to pay someone to do that. Growing up, I didn't have to pay. We didn't have to pay people
I
to.
mean, my dad was a firefighter, and if the house across the street was on fire, I wouldn't go try to put it out.
Oh, that's really
Same
cool.
kind of thing, like with tires,
Sometimes,
right? Like you can't really, you could do a lot of things on your car. You can't change your own tires, really.
no, that would be hard. Yeah,
It would
professionally,
be
because
very
it's
hard. I mean, I suppose you
very.
could. I don't know how you would
Yeah,
make that happen. Yeah.
yeah, he has really good tools. We got so sidetracked. Okay, I want to ask you a couple more
So
questions.
sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, that's the way it should go. I just want to make sure I ask you a couple more fun questions so people can get to know you. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself? I want to make sure not change anything. We don't want to change because most people
Yeah.
are like happy. Just what would you tell yourself?
Do not let other people's opinions guide so much about what you do. Like, actually, just really push forward and follow your heart because, in the end, you're the one that's got to live with all your decisions.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think that's really a big thing when you think to your 18-year-old self. We always look to everyone around us, and sometimes that's good, but then we also need to go back to ourselves to be like, what is it? After gathering all the information, like what's going to be best for us?
Yeah, I
Or
mean, my father was really upset that I entered the auto industry and that I was going to work on cars. Like, very upset about it. And obviously, it's worked out for me. I have a whole career in this industry, made a
yeah,
few pivots and tried to get out of the industry a bunch of times, but here I am. I'm just in a different part of it, you know. When I left my business partnership, and I needed to go back into the industry. I went back to a dealership, and then I wasn't happy with that. I didn't like it. Writing service, I was a really good service writer. I was the assistant service manager for San Francisco Mini. Went back to that, and then I was actually trying to get out of the industry, but found an ad on Craigslist that said, "Are you an ASC certified master technician wants to do something different?" And I was, and that's when I found Repair Pal. And
really?
that really helped me build my career, yeah. And at that
Yeah,
time, it was 10 people in a office with IKEA desks in San Francisco, 100 shops and a network and an idea. And now Repair Pal is a company in the automotive industry. It's an actual company, and I was there for 10 years. So, when I was looking for a new job and a new opportunity, I wanted a new opportunity to do something. I almost exclusively looked at startup companies just because I like to build. And I
it's
also
really
don't like rules. So, corporate structures don't work well for me because if I want to do something, I'd like to do it soon, like right now.
this is
And, corporate doesn't really support that because they have big systems. But when you're at a startup, like you're just trying to
yeah.
figure out how to make it work and what works.
Yeah, I remember that when I left the auto industry and went to a more corporate style company, and I missed like being part of PartsEdge because we were such a small company and like figuring things out, and like yeah, it's just so much more fun because it's like every day's different and we're just figuring it out. There's no like structured process. Even
That's
though
the
it's
big
great.
thing. Every day is different. Like
Yeah,
every single one of my days is different. I deal with different challenges, different ideas. I'm not doing the same things day after day.
it's very exciting.
Yeah, I love
Do
that.
you do you have a favorite mantra or any inspiration that you like to follow or tell yourself?
The one that I always put on things that I really kind of try to guide my life by is only dead fish go with the flow.
Oh, I like that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, stepping outside of like what's been done, like, and I'm sure that you've run into this, like in this industry, especially, everybody says this is the way we've always done it.
God.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and look at that's where we've gotten us. Like, we have a terrible reputation. There's all kinds of supply chain issues. There's all sorts of compatibility issues with different things. And it's like, just because it's always been done that way doesn't mean it's the right way.
Absolutely. Oh man, that's something that I just like when I hear I'm like, oh, I just want to beat. Is there a wall? I
Yeah,
want to beat my head against the wall.
right? Same thing. I'm just like, come on. Like, so
But then it's like
think
you
about
just move on.
working at
You
a
just
startup as well. It's like you're constantly knocking on that door. Like,
But then you move on because you're like, okay, I'm only gonna try. Like, I'll come back to you later.
yeah, exactly. I'll go get more data and come back with a more compelling story.
So last question, okay, I know what your favorite car is probably because you had your Bugs, right? Is that your favorite car still, or do you have a new favorite car?
No, my actual new favorite car, and I just sold mine like a couple of days ago, or literally, is Toyota's Mirai, their hydrogen vehicle. So I've owned two of them now. I just sold my latest one and got a different vehicle because we have different needs right now. But when you're looking at electric and you're looking at hybrid technology, hydrogen technology, personally, I think it's the most repeatable going forward.
Okay.
There's infrastructure problems with it. They use much smaller batteries, so when you're talking about creating these fleets of EV vehicles, like the amount of things that they need to make those batteries, we don't
Yes.
actually have those resources, I don't think, on the earth for
You
that.
just opened a can of worms.
Well, we can talk about that, but personally, I think hydrogen technology, I've got a lot to
Good.
work out. Part of the reason why I sold my vehicle was because when I bought it, hydrogen was $9 a kilogram, and then it went up to $26 a kilogram because of supply chain issues. And
Mhm.
they'll get that down, but I just didn't want to finance that. So I got a hybrid vehicle, but they'll figure that out and we'll see more coming around. It was the most flawless, beautiful vehicle that I've probably ever driven.
Wow, that's really impressive. So we gotta look at those.
Mhm.
I've never seen them,
Yeah,
so I've heard about it, but I haven't seen
yeah, look
them.
at 2023 Toyota Mirai. It's beautiful. It's built on the Lexus LS platform.
Oh, okay. So I bet
Mhm.
it's really beautiful.
And it's
I'm
more
a
efficient
Toyota fan.
for Lexus than it is like a Toyota. It's much more similar to a Lexus than a Toyota.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I know Lexus is a very, very reputable and
Mhm.
beautiful brand. I love all cars and all brands. Okay, so just to wrap it up, how can people get a hold of you? Assuming LinkedIn's probably the best way. If you want to
LinkedIn,
shout out your email. Yeah.
yeah, LinkedIn or just Jill.Trotta at Torqata, Torqata is a good way. Or, if you just Google me, there's a million ways to reach me.
Yeah, and we'll have links for everyone too if they want to reach out. And then also just to wrap up, is there anything else that you want to add before we, say goodbye?
No, I'm just really happy to be here. And I was just at Auto Care Leadership Days in Orlando with a bunch of people from the industry. And I do want to say there were much more women there at the event, which made me
Awesome.
really happy. I was like, all right,
Growing.
all right. It looks like all the efforts, a lot of us are being recognized. And Women in Auto Care, which is, if you're a woman out there in the industry, you should join Women in Auto Care. It's a great support system and a great group.
Oh,
Super,
that's
and
neat.
super important for our industry.
Yeah, we'll have to include links for that because I don't even think I'm in a part of that.
You should definitely be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down now. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope everyone got some education on tires and why they are important, and we really need to focus on this. So, with that, thanks so much, Jill.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you for joining us. PartsEdge, the power tool for your parts department. We hope you're leaving feeling motivated, challenged, and inspired.